Hey guys, how are you doing? Hopefully you're having a great day. In today's video, I want to talk about the 3 must-have bass fishing combos you have to keep with you, either on your boat, on your kayak, or in your car if you're walking the bank. But I made a video similar to this a couple of years back, my top 5 bass fishing combos you must have. And I want to, focus on the basics, the absolute basics. More for you guys that are just getting into bass fishing, or maybe you're a student like me, or you don't have a job, you're a little bit younger maybe, that you can't afford, having 10, 20, 30 bass fishing combos like some of the pros that you guys see. And you just want to go out, catch fish, but at the same time you want to be prepared for any situation that you may encounter, that being type of bass, where you're fishing, or what baits you're fishing. So that being said, I'm going to try to cover all the basics with just 3 combos. So these combos, I believe, are the ones that will get you on the water, get you fishing, and make you the most efficient and effective you could be on the water. Now, starting off, everyone needs a spinning combo in their arsenal. I don't care where you live. I don't care if you fish for largemouth or smallmouth or for spots. You never know what conditions you're going to be presented. You never know where you end up fishing, what part of the country you end up fishing. Everyone needs a spinning combo in their boat or in their truck or in their kayak or whatever. But spinning combos is a lot to choose from. Most of the time, people start off fishing with spinning combos, so more often than not, you already have a spinning combo with you. But I highly encourage to invest in a nice, sensitive, mid to higher end spinning setup. So let's start off with the rod. Rod length, anything between a 6'10" to a 7'3" is a pretty safe way to go. It also kind of depends what kind of rods you like. I personally prefer longer rods. You have a little bit more of leverage on the fish, especially if you're fishing deep and you have more tip to work with when you're setting the hook, but just my personal preference. But definitely go, between 6'10" to 7'3" or so, again, depending on what you like. And as for the power of the rod, that kind of depends on your personal preference as well. This here is a 7.3 medium light plus, or medium light mag. It's just a medium light with a little bit more of a backbone to it, I guess you could say. And I'm really liking this power a lot, but I've caught plenty of fish on both medium and medium light. Just kind of depends on what you like. But if you don't know where to go with a medium. You can use it for a lot of applications. Drop shotting, shaky heading, shaky heading, tubes, spy baits. I use top water, like small poppers. So in my boat, my spinning rod is pretty much all my finesse applications. This is why, again, I try to invest a little bit more in my spinning setups. More sensitivity. You can feel those lighter bites when the fish are very, very finicky. Mid to higher end spinning rods tend to be better tuned than some of the lower end rods. Just overall feel less tip heavy. If you're going to be throwing a spinning combo all day for finesse fish, you want to make sure that it's comfortable and efficient and effective and sensitive. You can still feel all those bites. Now, as for the reel, I highly recommend going between a 2500 and a 3000 size reel. On here, I actually have a 1000 size Sahara. I just have it on here because I was moving some reels around. Sahara itself is a very, very great reel. I use them a lot. I've been using them for many, many years. But 1000 size is a little bit small in my opinion. The higher you go, the 3000 and 2500 size reels, the drag is a lot smoother just because you have a bigger face. You have more line capacity, so if you're fishing the Great Lakes or deeper water, you really need that, line capacity. And the spool itself is bigger. The 2500 and 3000 size, that reel is relatively the same size, just the spool is deeper on the 3000. But compared to a 1000, the actual spool itself is a lot wider. So you have a lot less line twist because your line's not coiled as tightly. So it prevents a lot of line issues you may have a smaller spinning reel for sure. And as for the line, I recommend 10 to 20 if you really want braid to a fluorocarbon leader, anywhere between a 4 to 10 pound fluorocarbon leader. Again, depends what you're fishing, what your water clarity is like. But I highly recommend you go braid to a fluorocarbon leader. Learn a good knot, learn the FG, learn the Alberto knot. I use the improved Alberto knot, I believe it's called. Learn a good knot get it down, and trust me, go Braid to Fluorocarbon. Super, super sensitive. You can see the fish when the fish bites, and before you can actually feel it with your rod, you can see the line jump. Highly, highly recommend. I actually have 10-pound Power Pro Super 8 slick on here to a 4-pound fluorocarbon leader. So first off, spinning combo. Again, I'm going to leave links and descriptions down in the description below of each combo in case you guys miss something, or in case I'm talking too fast or I miss something. But everything will be linked down below as well, so you guys can go see that. But spinning combo everyone needs. You never know when you might have to put down your flipping stick and go deep and drop shot or something like that. Now next up, in my opinion, the all-around bass fishing setup right here. You need a medium heavy bait casting setup. 100%. The first bait caster you buy, if you don't have a bait caster yet, definitely a medium heavy rod. You can throw everything on this. I have a jig tied on right now. You can go top water, you can throw frogs, smaller frogs, you can throw spinnerbaits, buzzbaits, jigs, chatterbaits, crankbaits if you really want to, you know, Texas rigs. Everything goes on this rod right here, everything. I always have this rod with me, I always have this combo with me, because it just throws everything. Recently I had a 6-inch swim bait on here, and now I have a jig. Like, it just throws everything, right? As for the rod, like I said, medium heavy. Definitely recommend you go over that 7-foot mark, you know, 7 foot, 7'2", 7'3", 7'4", again, depends on what you like. If you don't know, just go 7 foot on the dot. Medium heavy, fast action rod. This right here is a medium heavy, 7'2", medium heavy, fast action Zodius. This rod has been through hell and back with me. It's been everywhere. It's been to Florida multiple times. It just flat out, it's a beast. It's a beast. As for the reel, I recommend going with a 100 to 200 size spool, so anything from the Shimano SLX like I have on here to 150 size spool, all the way up to maybe the Corrado K or Corrado DC, which is the Corrado K is a 200 size spool. Just, you know, have a little bit more line capacity. You can, you know, chuck jigs around, chuck Texas rigs around, chuck swim baits around, do everything. As for the gear ratio, this is the HG model, 7:2 to 1 gear ratio. I highly recommend you go with a 7 gear ratio as well. It's a lot easier to slow down than to speed up and try to catch up to your bait. A lot of times, if I'm throwing like a bigger swim bait or something like that, or throwing a jig, I'm hopping in, the fish will, you know, grab it and run at me or something like that. With a 7 gear ratio, it's a lot easier to catch up to the fish and set the hook than a 6 gear. Then again, an 8 gear is really, really fast in my opinion for some of the techniques I'm using. I tend to reel pretty fast naturally anyway, so I try to stay away from that. But that being said, I highly recommend going with a 7 gear ratio. As for the line, that's pretty much up to you guys. I know a lot of people swear by fluorocarbon, a lot of people swear by braid. I primarily fish braid. As you guys can see here, I have, this is 30-pound or 50-pound. This is 30-pound. 30-pound Power Pro Super 8 Slick in the Onyx Black color, the new V2 line. I pretty much fish braid on everything, so it just, I'm more comfortable with it. I have a lot of confidence in it. I don't have to worry about any nicks or anything like that. It's not invisible like fluorocarbon, obviously, but the black line is pretty much neutral underwater, so I don't really worry about fish seeing my line. And, you know, that being said, it's very sensitive. There's absolutely no stretch in it, which I personally prefer. But that being said, this thing, workhorse, the rod and the reel, has seen a lot of fish, and it goes with me everywhere. I highly recommend, if it's your first bait caster, you're buying a 7-foot medium heavy rod with a 7 gear ratio reel, and it gets everything done, and you'll have this combo forever. Last but not least, we got ourselves a heavy setup. Definitely a setup everyone should have with them. You definitely need a heavy setup when you're fishing, you know, cover, when you need to hook the fish and yank them out of there before they can tangle you up or anything like that. If you're fishing lily pads or mats, or even like, you know, fallen timber or anything like that, very effective to have a heavy setup with you. Now, this setup right here is my go-to for pretty much everything that I can't handle with a medium heavy. That being said, I throw primarily Texas rigs on here, to be honest with you guys, primarily Texas rigs. I don't fish jigs in super heavy cover, so that stays on my medium heavy. I fish frogs on here. I fish swim baits on here, like glide baits, like smaller glide baits. Everything on here, but mostly Texas rigs. As for the setup itself, this is a 7.6 heavy, and I recommend to stay in that range. You know, with a heavy setup, personally, I really think you need that leverage to yank the fish out. You know, if you're fishing timber or anything like that, having a shorter rod, you don't have as much rod to really bend and first of all set the hook, and then to have the leverage over the fish to yank them out of everything. So I definitely recommend a longer, you know, stouter rod with a fast tip to be a meat stick. Like, just be able to yank everything out, yank the fish out of timber and all that stuff. But definitely recommend staying between that 2 to 7.6 heavy fast action rod. As for the reel, I believe the reel is more important than the rod in this situation. First of all, you want a good drag, and you also want a high gear ratio. This is the Shimano Corrado K, 200 size spool, so it holds a lot of line, and it's the XG model, so it's the 8:1 gear ratio, or 8:5. This is the 8:5 gear ratio. It's really, really fast. You know, when I'm pitching my Texas rig into like any sort of grass or timber, I really want that fast gear ratio to be able to, first of all, pick up any line that the fish may slack when they bite, and second of all, be able to yank that fish out of there fast. Like I said before, they're going to try to wrap you around everything they can. They're going to go in deeper into the timber. The faster gear ratio, you're able to make more flips, more pitches throughout the day, making you more efficient on the water. So like I said, you want that higher gear ratio. As for the line is very, very important. This is a 50-pound Power Pro, and definitely what I recommend if you're using a heavy setup. You know, 17 to 20 pound fluorocarbon will do as well. I know a lot of guys that use braid to fluorocarbon, but braid's just heavy duty. It's just heavy duty. It's gonna get through everything. It's a smaller diameter for the pound test. Obviously, you guys know. So 50-pound braid has about the same diameter as like 15-pound fluorocarbon or so. So you have a lot more strength for the actual diameter of the line. It's pretty abrasion resistant. There's no stretch in it whatsoever. So again, you're setting the hook and you're taking that fish out. And I highly recommend, you know, 50 to 65-pound braid, depends what you're comfortable with. Or if you want fluorocarbon, 17 to 20 to 25-pound fluorocarbon. But I highly recommend braid. It's a lot easier to manage in the higher diameters as opposed to fluorocarbon as well. But that being said, that is my last combo I'm going to talk about today. These are the 3 combos that I recommend you always have on the boat with you if you're just starting out getting into bass fishing. These are the 3 combos I highly recommend you pick up first. It covers pretty much all of your bases other than cranking. I do recommend having a moderate action tip for cranking. It just improves your hookup to land ratio a lot. But I mean, other than that, these pretty much cover everything you're going to be encountering out on the water. Like I said before, I'm going to leave links to everything down below in the description. You guys can go have a look. And I mean, other than that, hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one.